Welcome everybody to the LEC post-game lobby. I'm Shox and I'm joined by K-Droll and Fnatic's Rekkles. Hello, Martin.
Hello.
Hi. Congratulations on the fantastic victory today and also making Worlds. Yeah, you must be incredibly relieved that Fnatic had such a good showing today.
Thank you. And yes, I am very much relieved of our games today. I feel like my team did so well. I don't know how to put it in any different way. I just think everyone played really well. So it's super exciting to see that we can still do it, you know, at the end of everything, even if we've had a tough split and so on and so on.
And Selfmade said in his interview, it's all down to just putting him on carry junglers. What do you have to say to that? Was that the main thing you went into the game there with?
So actually, this is something we took away from our game against you guys in week 8. On the Saturday, we played you guys, and going into that game, we thought our best chances of winning would be to play a carry jungle. And that also were to be our first game where we kind of felt like we were a good team. So ever since then, we've been running this narrative for ourselves that carry jungle is our best chances of winning. And I think you could clearly see today that Selfmade is a very good jungler when he's on a carry. So I think we're hitting the spot right on.
So Excel helps you in the series, and I'm happy.
Yeah, Excel helped Fnatic rivals, but also helping each other. Well, Rekkles, if you will allow me to ask, because we talked a couple of weeks ago, and then you were saying, well, we're having trouble figuring out what exactly we should play, but it isn't really the most complicated of solutions, right? Because Selfmade has always been a carry jungler. So it seems odd to me that it took so long. So were there other things that also just fell into place this week?
I think it sounds like an easy fix, but when the meta, like now we're a bit more favored, I guess, because now the meta is a bit more for carry jungle, but when the entirety of the split is just tank jungler, and if tank jungler is banned, another tank jungler, it's hard to go against that, especially when you're not winning your games. It's hard to break apart from the pack that's winning all their games playing this way, so I think it's actually not such an easy fix, and it was kind of actually like a last resort for us, because when we played Excel in that Saturday game, we really needed that win, and we thought if everything's on the line, like it was in that game and like it was today, this was our best chances of winning. So I don't think it was an easy fix, actually. I think it took some talks between all of us to get here, and if anything, I'm just happy that we all like stood strong during this process and didn't give up, because I feel like, yeah, it was a really tough split, like I said earlier. So in many cases, we might have given up, but I'm just happy to see that we didn't.
Yeah, I wasn't meaning to underplay the change, not at all. But also, as you bring up the fact that, you know, the Hecarim buffs and Lilia being introduced into the meta, that obviously opens up a bit of opportunities in that regard as well. I also want to ask about the training room, because we saw that you guys were in a different environment. And then Sam Matthews said on Twitter that you've been practicing there, and it was kind of better to simulate the live environment. Can you tell us something about that room?
So I hope he doesn't hate me, but we haven't been practicing here.
Oh.
We came here today at 12. It's our first time.
I heard that from someone, I don't know.
So in a way, it's that way. Like, we wanted to come here to break our cycle of working at the same place, playing stage at the same place, because at some point it's hard to get like in yourself when you need to perform at your best, and you need to have that, like, I don't know how to put it, but like extra focus in yourself when you play these games. So we thought that, like, even if it's just on the day, if we can change the location, then it might feel more like an event, or like we're in the studio. So
yeah,
it was just for today.
I can see what you say. I'm obviously pro player, so when it comes to changing environments and different sort of scenarios, it makes you try hard more and like gives you more of a wake up call. Is that something you felt?
Yeah, for sure. I think just the fact that we come in and we have to like unpack our gear and set up our computers, just that fact is already putting you in a place where you feel like today is different. Today is like a day you need to do something different on. So I'm personally very fond of the idea of doing something like this, but it's not something we've done the entire week. We actually came here first today.
Yeah, but it kind of sounds like a no-brainer, because even if just going somewhere on the day that you're playing and that change of that environment, also something that had us a bit puzzled is why you are sitting in the support position and Hilly was sitting in the marksman position.
So this is a much simpler answer. He likes his computer on the right side. I don't mind. So he needed to take the right spot in our table, because the tables are for 2. So the computer is on the left and on the right, and we want to sit next to each other, so we just had to change for the computer.
Yeah.
But we were memeing during the day about it being me, like the support for the team and Hylli the carry for the team. And I think in some ways there's some truth behind this.
Yeah, a lot of
Like,
sense.
I feel like I'm a very supportive AD carry, and he is in many ways actually one of our main carries. So
I mean,
it makes sense that way too.
I mean, it makes sense as well. And the conspiracy theories were definitely like, what's going to happen here? We are going to talk to Vander for a second. You stick around and we're going to ask you to react to that as well. But we'd love to get some insight from Vander and Rogue. Still going to Worlds, but a bit of a setback here. Let's see what he had to say.
Thank you, Shax, and thank you actually, Vander, for joining me here. Things didn't go your way today, but I mean, the journey doesn't stop here for Rogue. So is there anything you learned from the series today that will help you next time?
Well, it's still a bit early to say what we have to learn and what we have to take away from it. I just have some first thoughts, right? We didn't really think much about the games. I just think in general we expected Fnatic to run those like carry jungle style, and we didn't really manage to stop it. Yeah, we kind of had an idea how to do it, but it didn't really work out in the end. And I think the biggest problem is that we didn't really play like we used to. I saw some comments that we did everything exactly like we usually do. Maybe some champions were like always. In general, we just really stopped today, and we made self-made fat every game when he plays those carry jungles, and then it's really hard to.
All right, I think you're lagging a bit there. We're going to try and fix this issue. I'm going to send it back to Shax for now for us to solve the issue. I'll be right back with you, Vander. Take it away, Shax.
All right, here we go. Nothing going well for Rogue today. Also, the internet cutting out for that interview, sadly. Yeah, Rekkles, what's your vision on the whole Rogue situation? Number one, going into playoffs. And they already had doubters, right? The people who said, even in the teams, we're not afraid of Rogue. It must be a mental blow for them. Do you think they will recover in time for the rest of playoffs?
I think if they can be humble and realize that the meta is not in their favor anymore and they need to do some changes in their team, then they're going to be more than fine, because they are actually a good team and they have good players. But I think it's a bit like I've been there myself before. Like you go into playoffs and you're first seed, you've won a lot of games, you've beaten the best team. So in a way, you don't feel like you have to change anything. You feel like you can just do what you did the entire split and you're going to win because, well, you finished first and the other team finished fourth and they were struggling the entire time. So it's hard to be humble enough, I think, to realize that like maybe the meta is not right, or maybe we have to change some stuff, because for us, we come in with like a complete fresh start. They don't really have an idea of what we're going to do. I guess in this case, Vander said they sort of knew we were going to do carry jungle, but even then, it's like we know exactly what they're going to do and they don't know precisely what we're going to do.
I actually had a question in terms of meta there. You said it seems that the Asian regions really like carry junglers, and Europe hasn't really liked it for the past couple of weeks, like the Nidalee, the Lilia, the Evelyn, all this stuff. LPL, LCK are always playing these carry junglers. Did you guys get any inspiration from that, or was that just on the fly when you said playing against us?
So I think it was partly our win against you, and also partly just the patch. I feel like the patch made it just much easier to play carry jungle than before. I feel like before Volibear and Set were too oppressive, and even some champions like on mid and ADC were too strong, so it made sense to play for them. But now I feel like if you can get an Eve in a good position like we did today, or a Karthus like we did today, then in a way they can be stronger than your carries, or they can be your main carry. So I feel like, yeah, it was partly actually our game against you and partly the patch.
Okay.
How do you feel about your flexibility as a marksman in the meta as it is now? Of course, Caitlyn is always getting banned out. Senna is just so incredibly powerful, and it almost seems like you almost have to go for that or a couple of other picks. But how do you feel about what you can pull out?
Pretty good, I would say. I think today was nice for me because I got to show that I play Ashe. I feel like I haven't played Ashe in a long time.
Years.
I'm sure you ran some statistic on this, but it's probably been a couple of years, yeah. So that's super nice. And I don't really feel too uncomfortable with the meta. It's not really my like old school AD carry meta, but I never really felt like I had. I mean, okay, for sure now I'm gonna get contradicted on Reddit because it's like a running meme that I don't play the meta, but I feel like I've never really had problems with the meta. It's just I really like my old school lady carries, so sometimes I think they're stronger than they are, or I just really want them to be meta, so I try to like brute force it. But I think at some point as well, like in games like this, I just accept that, like, okay, the meta is this way, I'm gonna play the meta, and if it really comes down to it, I still have them on the side as like my old school.
I mean,
Babies.
listen, if people say that your champion pool is limited or whatever, they've not been paying attention, because you've, in the last couple of years, always been pulling out. You even played a Jhin like a couple of weeks ago, and you seem to always do in the end what's important for the team. Those titles and that world final doesn't lie, Rekkles. So I think you don't have to worry about that one. We are going to check out if we can talk to Vander again. We've done some work on the connection. I've actually just done it, and let's see if it works and if Vander can talk to us.
Thanks again, Shucks. I think it's working now. And Vander, thank you for your patience here. Are you still with me?
That's okay. Yeah, I'm here.
Awesome.
Hopefully it's not lagging anymore.
Awesome. Yeah, fingers crossed here. I just want to follow up on what you were saying about the fact that this time around, Rogue couldn't play the way you guys used to. And I want to know, does it have something to do with best of 5 here? Because that was a good test for you. The fact that it's the first time you're going to play a series as a team here in playoff. And yeah, how did it impact the Rogue playstyle as we know it?
Well, we played 2 best of 5s in spring. We won one, we lost one to Origin as well. Some experience in this as a team as well. I'm not sure if this is because of best of 5. I just think we played worse than we usually do today. It was just a bad day. I think also Fnatic played better than they usually did this split, at least, right? Because they are known to be a good team. But yeah, they kind of didn't do it this split so far. But yeah, they showed up. We didn't play too well with a lot of mistakes, and we kind of ran those comms that if kind of that's how I feel, that if the enemy jungle gets fed, we don't have many tools to deal with it, and we'll just like you'll outscale our carries, and then pretty much what Rekkles said, right? That the jungle was just unstoppable.
I apologize about forgetting about the series in spring. Obviously, that's important here. One last question I want to ask you. You will get to face who wins between Schalke 04 or Mad Lions here. Who would be the most fitting opponent for Rogue now in playoffs?
Well, I think coming to playoffs, I thought the 2 best teams are us and G2. I guess Fnatic proved me wrong today, and they are here, and they want to win against G2 tomorrow. I don't really care who we play between Schalke and Mad Lions. I think those 2 teams, yeah, I mean they play for Worlds, right? So they kind of gonna do their best next week, and we're gonna see, and hopefully we'll prepare better this time.
Well, I wish you the best of preparation for next week, and thank you very much for agreeing for this interview here today. I'll see you next week.
No problem. Thank you.
And back to you, Shucks.
Thank you very much, Laure. Great from Vander to talk to us. Kadril, what are your holistic thoughts about Rogue after what you've seen today?
I just think that there was a bit of inconsistency in their grouping in team fights. They were split a lot. I think that their solo laners had kind of bad days. I'm not sure if Nemesis really stepped it up with the Lucian picks, and he was just going even against Larsen and playing really well and getting CS advantages. But Finn was also having a really bad day. I think Bwipo was solo killing him, getting his flash every single lane phase. And Inspired and Hans were really trying their best with Vander to make plays happen. They were drafting the Kalista, the Blitzcrank, trying to make things happen. But these early game champs just kind of fell off as the later game sort of came around, and yeah, they were just really split in fights. Hopefully next week they can step it up.
Yeah, hopefully indeed. Final note on this series, Rekkles Selfmade also said he thought that the play was questionable from both teams, so from Rogue and from Fnatic. But from where we were sitting, it looks pretty good, especially if we looked at the last couple of weeks. So what do you think?
I think we played really well, actually. I made the game hard in game 2. By dying top lane. I think it was like level 7 or level 8. I had a bad wave, and I called my jungler to come help me, and I didn't wait for him to be there yet. Like basically, it's a classic case of my jungler is pushing away from me, my wave is pushing away from me, and I need my jungler, but jungle is doing his camps, and then we just need to time each other, and we didn't do that properly. So game 2 was just super hard, but I think we still did really well in that game. And in game 1, obviously, we did super well. So I would say, if anything, then game 3 would be the game where we kind of dropped the ball, but it's easy to do when you're 2-0 up and you're feeling like you can touch your ticket to Worlds. It's so easy to forget about the game and start thinking about the future. Like basically to stop thinking about the present and start thinking about the future. So I feel like that kind of happened to us, where we were taking the win out in advance, and then we started making some mistakes, and they got like 2 Drakes on us or something like that. So I could see game 3 not being the cleanest, but otherwise I feel like we played really well.
Maybe he's just, he's hard on the team. He wants it to be even better. So tell me then, back at Worlds, I mean, they can't keep you away from there, it seems. How are you feeling about this Worlds 2020 for Fnatic and for Rekkles?
It's been a tough summer, but I feel like we played well in spring, and we always managed to find these like solutions to our problems. It's somewhat of a famous thing for Fnatic, I guess, to like band-aid fix all your issues, but in a way, I feel like we always just make it work. So I have pretty good hopes for Worlds. I feel like it's gonna be good for us as well to have this break in between, and now with the meta as well going a bit more towards carry jungle, and with Oscar being such a good jungler, or Selfmade being such a good jungler, I feel like we can actually come into Worlds being one of the stronger teams. So I have good hopes for it.
And speaking of strong teams, who do you think will be one of the strongest teams at Worlds, looking at the LPL, the LCK, and even the LCS if you have to?
So from what I've seen, I would say Damwon look like so much better than the other LCK teams. Because DRX were looking good in the beginning, but now towards the end they've kind of dropped the ball. And they're the 2nd seed, I think, going into playoffs. So to me, Damwon just looks like they are like too good over there. And same thing I got kind of from Top Esports. Now they're gonna play their finals. I think is it next week maybe? Because other semifinals was today, where JDG beat. Oh, I shouldn't say this. Sorry.
We've already spoiled it earlier.
Either way. Okay, you spoiled it. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, JDG beat LGD earlier, I think. And JDD are actually very similar to us. We're talking about it before our game today, but they also play carry jungle style with Kanavi being their main guy in the team. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can do anything to Top Esports. But to me, it would be Damwon and Top Esports that look to be like the best teams right now.
If you look at like more than one team, because I get the same feeling that you can really see like those teams seem just in a different stratosphere, let's say. But in general, is your feeling that we're going to see like a back to what we're used to seeing in terms of LPL and LCK being kind of the strongest and LEC trailing a little behind? I know it's super hard to say, but that's kind of the question for this Worlds, right?
I don't think so. I feel like if anything, G2 is always going to be there, you know. And as I said, I actually have like good feelings for this Worlds. If the meta keeps on going like this way for us, it's perfect, honestly. I feel like it hits just right for our players. So I don't think there'll be like a gap or anything, if that's what you mean. I feel like that's an old thing that's probably not going to come back anytime soon.
Okay. Well, that makes me happy, but you know, we'll see what happens. So let's take a look at the bracket, because you can never avoid it. It means that Fnatic will face G2 in the next round. Rogue will go up against the winner of Mad and Schalke 04, and Mad and Schalke will of course be playing for Worlds qualification in that direct match, which is pretty crazy. First up, Fnatic, G2, and Rogue all locked at Worlds 2020. But yeah, Rekkles, you get another shot at G2. This time, you might get 2 actually, also. So what are you feeling for this best of 5 versus G2 in summer?
I feel like it's gonna be a banger once again, and it's just great every time, honestly. Like, I know people want me to feel like there's extra pressure or something, but I just enjoy it a lot. It's super nice to have like this rivalry between and all these best of 5s to play. It's like in a way just a strong memory on when I get older. Like, I look back at last year and sure we lost both best of 5s, but it was insane to be a part of. So my hopes are we get something similar this time.
I mean, you bring the best out in each other in those best of 5s usually. Spring, maybe not as much, so you have a shot at redemption here. Kadril, you can give your unfiltered opinion. I know Rekkles is right there, but what do you think about this best of 5?
Well, just going back to what Vander said, they knew that they would be playing carry junglers, so they tried to abuse it. They couldn't find the winning formula against their playstyle, so I'll be interested to see what G2 does. They're a lot more diverse. They have so many different things up their sleeves. They're so good at playing different playstyles, so it might be a bit different to old Fnatic G2 series, where it's sort of tank junglers. This might be a full-on scrap between Jankos and Selfmade. So it's all up in the air for me.
Oh, that would be so cool too. About the brackets, can I get a little prediction of Mad versus Schalke? Who's going to make it to Worlds, Rekkles?
Schalke.
Schalke. Oh, you're also on the hype train.
I actually think they're really good, and they have found some sort of identity for their team that works really well. I thought actually going to playoffs that they might not have it in them, because it looked like to me they just played like 2 champs on every role, and they were like kind of lucky to get them every game. But then they showed now in their game against SK that they actually have more champions to play, and they still look really good. So to me, it's actually a very clear favorite.
So if they beat Mad and then, yeah, perhaps they beat Rogue. I mean, are we talking?
Very possible.
Yeah, it's I mean, a Schalke possibility in the finals, but that would be at the cost of you maybe, or G2. So interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Ooh, Kedro,
It can happen. I'm not
it can.
gonna like be selfish here and say that we are better than them, because I actually don't know. It's hard to say. We played them now twice in the split, and both times they kind of shit on us. And when you look at them play, like they are very much a team. Maybe even more of a team than we are, or than Rogue was today, or even G2 were during the split. So it's not so far-fetched, I think, to say that they can be like a favorite for this playoffs.
Yeah, I agree with Rekkles there. I think Schalke has come together really well as a team, and it's not only one member stepping up. It's like Abadage carries games, Gilius carries games, Neon carries games, Odoamne carries games. So versus Mad Lions, I'm a bit worried for Mad Lions, honestly. I think Schalke might be able to take the last world spot. But Mad Lions did have a few games against G2 where they showed some signs of greatness. Yeah, G2 was a bit too good.
They were indeed. We're going to sign off in just a second. I would like to take a little selfie with you, Rekkles, and with Kedro, of course. We got the news, of course, that you guys won't be coming back to the studio for the rest of the playoffs and the production update. That's sad, but at least we can take some selfies. So that'll keep us over until then. All right, let us position this. Yeah, all right. Wait, yes, perfect.
Yeah, I got you.
You got it indeed. Great stuff. Thank you
you.
so much, Rekkles. Congratulations. Fantastic series.
Thank you so much.
No
Have a nice
problem.
evening.
See you next
Don't
week.
forget Champions League.
We're going to sign off for now in the LEC, but across the Atlantic. TSM versus Golden Guardians is starting in a couple of hours. There's some football about as well. And tomorrow, the European Masters group stage starts here in the LEC studios. You can catch all of the action from 6 p.m. CEST with Vodafone Giants facing off against Misfits Premier. We'll be back next Friday for more playoffs. See you then. Bye-bye.